Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petro, and joining me on the show is a full debater cast. A ensemble cast of masturbation is about to happen for you. We've got Mark Cowell, Ian Bawa, Jimmy Skinner, and myself. We kick the show off with What Did You Watch This Week, gentlemen? We've got American Gods, Paranormal Activity, the series, actually. Ian got in a couple of those. Jimmy took Tower Heist on Netflix for a spin, and I got involved with Handmaid's Tale Season 4. We also play Would You Rather, This or That, Moral Dilemma, and a bunch of other fun games. We talk about Minority Report. We talk about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And Mark brought up a really great topic, which is how do you watch with your partner or your movie or your TV watching buddy? Like, do you cheat on him? Do you sometimes watch one or two episodes or half the movie ahead before you're supposed to, just because you can't wait? So that's what's on the show, ladies and gentlemen. News alert. I told you I would stop all of you if there was something to announce. We now have a YouTube channel. So for our real quick segments, these are 5-minute or less movie reviews. Just a bite. It's like an amuse-bouche. Just a little bit of a movie to entice you, not some long-winded professional rant. This is done on cell phone in our basements because, as I've mentioned, doing video together is kind of difficult in a pandemic. So our real quicks are there. We're going to put some other videos out, I'm sure. This isn't going to be where it stops, but to subscribe, like, and follow, please do all of those things. That's the name of the game, kids, is Reel Debaters on YouTube, at Reel Debaters on Instagram, and the Reel Debaters podcast on Facebook. Those are the three places you'll find the video, so you make sure you're subscribed, you're liking everything, you're following everything, because that really makes a big difference for us for exposure. So thank you to everybody who already does that. We are in your debts. I don't know what we owe you, but probably a t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, if you want to know more about us, our website is a perfect place to do so. And after the show, if you're like, I want to support these guys, we sell t-shirts in our prop shop. It's all threadless product. Super great company. Offers really great product for really great prices. So you can buy a t-shirt, skateboard, sticker, hat, backpack, what have you. We got a lot of stuff there. And then if you're on a budget and you would just have like $1, throw a buck at us. That goes a long way. If like 25 people throw a buck at us, that goes back into something we pay for a month to try to make us sound and look better than we normally would. So either way, supporting the show, you can do it through both of those tabs at thereeldebaters.ca. You can follow us online at Reel Debaters on Twitter as well, too, same as Instagram. And if you want to contact the show, thereeldebaters@gmail.com. All of the spelling is REEL. If you want to call us out, if you want to agree with us, we'd love it if you agreed with us. Anyway, that you want to engage with us, thereeldebaters@gmail.com is the way to do so. To our top 10 listeners, we love everybody that listens here. We really do. It means a lot to us 5 yokels. But there's 10 places in the world each week that do some heavy lifting for us. We'll start with our friends in our hometown, Winnipeg, leading the charge. As always, number 1, followed by Nanaimo, Ottawa, Toronto, and Neverville. And then we jump south of the border to San Jose, Cedar Grove, Southington, Boardman, and Ashburn. We love California. Thank you, guys. I mean, everywhere, there's people listening to us everywhere, but these are the 10 places that do a lot of heavy lifting, like I mentioned. So water cooler talk, sharing an episode that we've done, whatever's happening, thank you to everybody, but big shout out. Fist bump, elbow bump, whatever's appropriate in the pandemic. If we could give it to you, we would. So thank you. I've got nothing else. I'll cue that reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everyone, to the official debate section of the charter.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Reel Debaters production. We've got some fun people on the show. We've got some repeaters. We've got some people we haven't talked to in a while. Let's start. Let's start with our 5-time champion. Hello, Ian Bawa.
Champion. No, I don't know if I'm a champion. I've just been on here 5 times.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'm like, it's not anything you can really put on a resume.
Wait, no, take it back.
Okay.
I'm a champion.
You're my champion.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Is it Ian? We've never met.
Oh.
Not to take any away from your championship since I haven't been here, but
Am I that? Have you not met him, Mark? Is that?
No, officially we haven't, but
Oh, well, yeah, okay. Well, Mark, meet Ian. Ian, meet Mark. Ian's a champion. Mark Cowell is our unofficial pop culture aficionado. Hello, Mark. How are you?
good. Although we haven't officially met, I hate him like a brother already.
Nice. I've done it.
That's a compliment.
That's all I've ever asked for anyone that meets me for at least 30 seconds.
And last but not least, will shut me up. Who's out in St. Boniface? Is that Jimmy Skinner?
Yes, and I'm excited to say I have won one time this year, and I don't know any of you.
Yeah, Jimmy just realized he doesn't know me after a very long period of time. It's been awkward, let me tell you. It's been like Cocoon. No, Awakenings. That's what it's been like. Not Cocoon with Steve Guttenberg. Awakenings with Robin Williams. Anyways, that is who's on the show. We have said hello, so let's kick it off. Kick it into high gear. Mark, we'll start with you. What the hell? Oh, I know what you watched this week by your screen name, but what'd you watch this week, motherfucker?
Wow, I had a very busy week, so I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to. You know what? I watched a whole lot of clips. Those don't really count.
Nah, they kind of you add up enough clips for the show.
And I'm halfway through about season 3 of American Gods.
Okay, talk to us about American Gods.
That's my screen name. It's great actually. I've obviously Neil Gaiman original story.
Yep.
Comics. So this is now I'm going to go into the long explanation of it. Yeah. This past week, I kind of had a week of nostalgia. I went back to a lot of things that I was into as a youth. That started with digging out all my comic books from storage that I haven't looked at in 30 years. So from that, it spiraled into sorting and running every comic to see if I had anything that was worth anything.
Do you?
I got a couple. Like I had some Transformer #1s that are worth a little bit. I had the
don't be like that. What's a little bit?
I have Thor 337, which is the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. So that's worth $200 or $300.
Really?
Yeah. I had a couple other ones. I had like Suicide Squad #1.
Wow. We've never talked about comics, I guess, because they've been put away for so long. But I mean, everything we love watching now comes from a comic book. So I mean, they do have a. What was the nostalgia like going through? Because there's something you found in the picture.
So the cool thing that twists into what I've been watching was that I was into comics a long time ago. I knew a lot of the characters, and I was a collector more than an avid reader. Even as a 11-year-old, I bought comics and never pulled them out of the plastic. I just looked at the covers. But now it's kind of neat, even going back and looking at the covers as I went through the hundreds of comics, how many of the story lines that are represented on the covers of these comics we've now seen been made in the MCU and through the Disney Plus stuff. It's pretty neat to see. I pulled one cover out and it's described as Dracula and so versus Doctor Strange, Wanda, and what's her name's character there? Photon.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're all on the cover. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like I literally just watched that series and this book is from 30 years ago.
So how much would like something like that be worth?
Honestly, they're not super rare. So they're probably only worth like about $5 a piece.
Okay.
But as the stories, so what I'm discovering now is as these stories get replayed, and as they're brought to the screen or small screen, the interest in those characters that they're now introducing, the comics that they were first introduced in are skyrocketing in value.
See, that's interesting because I hear Beta Ray Bill is going to be in the next Thor movie.
And that's exactly why his comic is now skyrocketed.
Oh, so yeah.
So when there's a rumor that somebody's going to be introduced, the speculation starts going up, and then as soon as they introduce them, then they're popular again, right? So
speculation, Wall Street, the market. That's interesting. That commerce has affected the value of comic books that much.
Yeah.
I think, what if we start spreading rumors to sell comics.
Let's pump up Mark's comic book collection.
I hear
Oh.
I hear they're going to introduce Obnoxio the Clown in the next.
So I know you because you sent the group a photo of this nostalgic run that you had.
Oh, yes.
You came across a copy. I'll let you explain what kind of copy.
So I did revisit this movie this week. I did not watch it in full, but I can actually show you a representation of it because somebody I know got me this really cool set of placards. So
The guy's got taste.
this movie, it's probably made long before Jimmy was born. It's rad. And I happen to have, so this is the first movie that I loved as a kid, because I was super into BMX. And I went to my local video store, Cavalier Video, which was about half a block from my house out in St. James. And I rented their one copy of Rad about 10 times. And finally I figured, you know what? I read this thing so much that I should buy a copy. So I went to the video store and said, how could I buy a copy of this? And they said, well, a new copy of this is over $100 because at that time you couldn't buy retail copies of those VHS. So they sold me their one rental copy that I'd already rented 10 times for about $50. And so my one VHS copy still has the Cavalier Video stickers on it. And it's actually the one that sat on the shelf and was rented out.
Shout out to every single one of you who's listened here who either knows somebody or worked in a mom and pop video store, because those things are like the American condor. They are, if not gone, like falling off the planet with like one finger left hanging onto the cliff.
And coincidentally, Mike, I just watched the last Blockbuster on Netflix documentary about the Blockbuster store.
Yeah, Martin watched it too. Okay, that's 2 out of the group. That means it's a must watch. I go by that.
What did you think of that? And by the way, I'm IMDbing like Rad, because I've never heard of this movie. The entire thing is on YouTube now in 4K. Which is great. So I will probably like skip through it at some point. But yeah, no, I did also watch the last Blockbuster, which is it's good. It's very nostalgic, but it's all right. Like,
so Ian, what you really have to see, so Rad was the first BMX movie really put out. And it's also never been released in retail. You can only ever have an original VHS copy that was a rental copy, and it's never been released on DVD either.
Right.
It's been remastered and bootlegged and available on streaming services, but it's never been available for sale. But to keep it somewhat contemporary, there's a famous scene where the love interest, the BMX girl, comes to town, and they have a BMX waltz / freestyle dance in the gymnasium. And that female BMXer is none other than Lori Loughlin of I Paid to Get My Kids into College fame. Or some might know her as Auntie Becky or whatever.
Becky.
There's a good shot there of them dancing on BMX bikes.
So I actually YouTube Rad dance, and I see the scene kind of as a thumbnail right now, and it's already kind of hilarious. Which is like he's dancing to Send Me an Angel.
Oh, what a good song!
Which is, when I hear that song, I think of The Wizard. Because that song's in The Wizard, when the montage of the dad looking for the son, like whatever the video game movie. I don't know if anyone knows. This movie came out in 1986, and I think Wizard came out in 1989 or 1990. But like that song was so epitome for that 4 or 5 years period. That's so funny. That's in 2 classic 80 movies.
It's when you shot that into the group, I was like, now we need to find a VHS player.
And talk about a spiral of stupid coincidences. That now then led me into reminiscing about my BMX days, which then led me into buying a new BMX bike
like a sick guy
and riding around my old neighborhood where I used to BMX. So it was quite a week for me.
That's, you know what? And that is exactly what a movie should fucking do. Like the end effect of watching one of your favorite movies should have some sort of nostalgic.
I agree.
Right? Like Mark, I've seen this bike that he got. This bike is fucking sick. Like I am strongly considering. Mark found me a hot tub, and now Mark found a bike, and I want to be like Mark, so I might buy a bike just like Mark. And yeah, tenant, exactly, Jimmy. We're forming a tenant over bikes and hot tubs, me and Mark. But it's a BMX cruiser bike, and it's got hot pink wheels, and it's exactly the bike he said that would have been in the movie, or that he would have had, just now bigger and
Right.
comfier.
So it's the company called SE Racing that originally made a bike called the PK Ripper, which is like one of the most famous BMX bikes ever. And they now make like mountain bike sized versions of BMX bikes for all of us old dudes that used to ride BMX. And it's literally amazing. It feels like I'm a kid again. It's a 29-inch BMX bike. So I feel like I'm like 4 feet tall riding it. And it's pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to get a good shot of this here, but
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a good. It looks
Yeah.
like it looks like something from Rad.
It does. And I'm riding around with Send Me an Angel blaring in my ears. And
Me an angel. How it goes like that.
so that's been my week.
That's amazing. You did.
And I watched some, sorry to cut
Yeah.
you off. I watched some American Gods in there somewhere, and it's pretty decent. So.
Are you upset that, because we talked about this, you started watching it, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shit on your parade and tell you that they canceled it. Are you noticing that you're really upset that they canceled it as this goes?
You know, I'm really getting into it. 3 seasons is a good run though.
Yeah.
I find on some of the shows that 3 seasons is actually kind of a sweet spot. It's like a trilogy sort of, right?
I think seasons, especially in like, it seems like Netflix kind of follows that thing these days. It's like they get 3 seasons or 1 season usually, but like 3 seasons feels like what a lot of these shows usually do these days. Like that show that was being filmed in Winnipeg, that Prime show, in the Amazon, Into the Loop.
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop. Thank you. They actually rented all the warehouses here for 3 years. The show only got 1 season in the end, so then they just departed on everything and sold everything off. But initially they were planning 3 seasons. So I think there's some sort of marketing play within that with a lot of shows, but. So sorry, you finished the series, and if so, how does it end? Like, does it end, or is there like a cliffhanger that doesn't get filled?
You know what? I'm still like 3 or 4 episodes away from the conclusion, so Mike knows how it ends.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in a weird place with it. I've read half the book, but the half I've read isn't what the show did.
It's one book too, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, it's a very. Do you
I've
know?
read
Do you know the premise of it?
Yes, yeah. I actually read the first like 50 pages a long time ago, and then I returned back to the library.
Yeah, you get it. So, then for anybody who doesn't, like a quick brief synopsis, it's taking old gods, old Norse mythology, old African mythology, old like tons, Egyptian, Scottish, Irish, European, like and taking the old gods, and the story is the old gods are dying, and the new gods, technology, commerce, IT, all of these things have new gods that have taken over, and now it's this battle for the love of humanity is essentially what the story is about, and you get it from the god's perspective, which is cool.
We learn that for a god to survive, you have to worship them in some way. So I guess the underlying story is that we now worship technology like we used to worship religion.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Is that a theme that's like actually explored within the show?
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah. And in a really sexy way. I believe it's Brian E. Kelly. Same guy who did Hannibal, the TV series. So very beautiful, very cinematic, very bloody, very sexy. There's a love scene that this is one frontal nudity shot away from being a porno. It was so sexy. So like it really pushes a lot of boundaries, and it's Prime, so they can. It doesn't end the way I want it to, though, to answer your question. I feel there's a lot more that can be told. It does end well enough that you're like, okay, I guess, but they really were flirting with something that I don't want to ruin for Mark. But like, where are you with Sweeney right now, Mark? Mad Sweeney?
Sweeney is dead. Dead wife dead wife is on her mission to possibly bring him back from the dead because he kind of did that for her.
Sure. Okay.
And Shadow Moon is in small town Wisconsin, trying to figure out what that's all about.
Yep.
And there.
Yeah, it's right now it's sort of, they're all heading to the funeral in Chicago where they're going to meet, and I think some of the war may play itself out. But yeah, it's really interesting. They do explore, Ian, you're mentioning they have there's like the new god sort of leader is Mr. World, who represents globalization.
Tell them who it is.
Yeah. Crispin Glover, who's creepy as fuck.
In real life and in TV.
That guy's very hard to work with, apparently, like reading interviews and stuff. That is interesting. He's still like working, period. He read that guy's like just info. Like he basically works occasionally acting, pain in the ass to work with, takes his money, then makes like really shitty features or really low budget features. That's what he kind of does these days, like with his like Back to the Future money, I guess, on top of it.
Yeah, that must be
interesting.
Dividend, sure.
It sounds like something you would give to somebody. Like you're gonna give them a Crispin Glover.
Yeah, it does feel like he's like part, like, I don't know. It feels like a cracker name or something, you know? Ooh,
salty. Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe like some sort of sex move involving a Ritz. Gave her the old Crispin Glover.
It's a sleeve of Ritz.
Yes.
Okay, so all in all, everybody watch Rad because it is one of the best BMX movies out there. It makes you happy. So watch a movie that makes you happy. That's Mark's.
What is the other BMX movie that like I should be comparing it to? That is my question.
There was a movie called BMX Bandits, which is widely known as the other BMX movie.
Interesting. Okay, I'm happy you had an answer. I was just kind of testing you, but okay.
Yes. Well, really, you know what? Rad is sort of a microcosm of the world. It's small town boy who's innocent, and the big bad corporation moves in. Like we've seen this in how many movies, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, the big bad corporation is corporate BMXing that sponsors this huge nationwide race in town. I mean, they might as well be Big Oil moving into, this is like a Steven Seagal movie, except it's on bikes.
Right.
And and it's how the small town good boy with good morals beats out the evil empire, so to speak.
Jimmy has a question.
Oh no, I was just pounding my chest for the Lord.
For the evil empire. Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, I want to hear you. I give you the floor, sir. The floor is yours. Tell us what you watched this.
Oh wow. Okay, so I watched things I liked. I watched Peanut Butter Falcon. That was awesome. I watched Twister again. That was fun. I started The League. That was on FX. That was a lot of fun.
The League is so good.
Love The League. Big fan. But I'm not going to talk about any of those.
Okay.
Instead, I'm going to talk about something that I just fucking hated. Last night, I punished myself and I watched Tower Heist.
Okay, so I've seen it arrive on Netflix as well. Tell us all. What the
Eddie Murphy, Ben Stiller, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, the cast is amazing. They got Casey Affleck in there. They got Matthew Broderick. They got Michael Pena. Like, it's a great cast. It just fucking sucks. And I don't know how, like, it's in a top 10 position in Netflix right now. I don't know if they just pick. It feels like they're just picking movies and they're like, let's make people watch Tower Heist this month. And it worked. It got me. I watched it. And you know what's disappointing about it? Not one time in the whole movie does someone say, oh yeah, we're going to do a Tower Heist. Like, that never happens. They never say the name of the movie in the movie. And it just feels like it was the perfect movie to do that. So I'm a little disappointed that no one said, hey, yeah, we're going to do a Tower Heist.
What the fuck is this? What's
the story? Like, premise?
Okay, so Ben Stiller plays Ben Stiller, and he works at this luxury tower in New York, right? Like, I guess it's like luxury apartments or like a hotel or maybe even both, who knows? And they find out that the owner of the hotel or tower has spent their pension or like improperly invested their money and lost it all. All the employees, all their pensions are gone. So Ben Stiller gets upset and he like smashes up the owner's apartment or whatever, and he gets fired. So him, Eddie Murphy, and a few other of the employees of the hotel devise a tower heist, which nobody said, and they tried to steal $20 million from the top floor suite of the tower there. And like, I'm just so disappointed because the cast is excellent and they don't do anything with it. Like Michael Pena has like 3 lines and not one of them is a joke. So it's just, I don't understand. It feels like they're underutilizing them. That's all.
It's a Brett Ratner movie. I didn't realize that. Which is like Rush Hour, Red Dragon, X-Men, Last Stand, etc. But like that's interesting. It's funny because I think when it came out, and it's a 2011 film, I'm looking it up right now. I think it was like, I remember seeing the trailers and I was like, this feels like lighter Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's super accurate. And it's funny because I was watching it with my roommates and they're like, one of them said, "Oh, I feel like George Clooney did this better," and they were right.
It is an insane cast, like Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, Casey Affleck, Alan Alda, Matthew Broderick, Steven Henderson, Jude Hirsch, Tay Leone, Michael Pena. I think after that it kind of dwindles, but it's like a very like Peter Van Wagner, like he's yeah. Anyways, it's just like very interesting cast.
Yeah, you would think like on paper everything sings about this, but
nothing.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like, how do we sell this movie, not how do we make it good.
Now on a completely I don't know if this is going to break your heart here, Jimmy, sort of at a meta level, is that I've recently discovered that the Netflix top 10 is not actually a universal top 10, and it's just catered to your individual tastes to make you watch things you haven't watched.
No, see, that's what I thought. That's what I believe. So I'm happy that, thank you, Mark.
And it worked. It's controlling you.
You're controlled by algorithms.
I really feel that someone should have taken me out for dinner before they convinced me my top 10 was real. That's just real.
I don't think the top 10 is ever like any good. Like it's just like, I kind of avoid it these days. I don't actually look at it anymore.
Yeah.
You've now been radicalized.
I don't need a computer to tell me how to feel.
Okay, so Jimmy, obviously disdain for the heist of the tower. Would you watch this in a tower, or like
in an elevator to the top of the tower?
Yeah, like how bad is this of a place?
What floor would you watch this?
You know what? If I think I was to watch this in any tower, it would
don't take 9/11. Don't make a 9/11.
It'd have to take place on 9/11.
Oh, ooh, that's a hot one.
He did it. He fucking did it.
Is that so? Just relatively, it's not the worst thing that's going to happen to you that day.
Exactly, Mark.
Oh wow, I love it. Okay, Ian, sir, please follow that up.
I can't. I've. It's funny. It's been a lighter week of like watching things, but I've been rewatching Paranormal Activity. With my bubble, like with a friend, we both wanted to watch. Like we were like, we should pick a series or something. And we were talking about Paranormal recently, so we started rewatching it. So we're on 4. So the first Paranormal was made in I have to look it up because I've lost my notes.
You know what? I bet you Jimmy could back this up.
Why, are you a big fan? 2007.
No, I just like them.
Yeah, I do. I've always been a fan. I like all of them. I'm like, I actually like sincerely like really enjoyed them. 2007, and it's funny because you can kind of see like the cheesiness. It works, but it's like, and they really were going into this. This is real footage. They're very much doing the Blair Witch. The second one, they kind of do the same, but they slowly start leaning away, being like, these are fun little films. They don't make like, here these families gave us this footage like at the end of the movie. So currently I just finished the 4th one last night. There's 2 more to go. the marked ones, and then I think Ghost Dimension is the very last one. The fourth is here's the order of them all. 3 is amazing. 3 is a standalone, very good horror movie, period. You can kind of watch that without even having any reference to the other 2. 3 is amazing, then 2, then 1, then 4. But I haven't watched 5 and 6 yet. So like, I have seen them a long time ago, but it's just memorizing. Anyways, it's been fun. The first one's just like basically the main woman screaming Micah all the time, which is just hilarious. And this asshole just character, like a lot of the characters in it are assholes. But I don't know, found footage movies really get me. I'm not a big horror movie guy, but like I forget the one thing horror movies do really well for me is they lock me in. I'm pretty committed. I'm invested. I get like, and sometimes I'm a little like, it's hard for me to get focused in, but horror movies really get me in like the first 15, 20 minutes for the most part, if they're good. And these found footage ones always get me. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited to like finish it and be like, that was a good, like 6 movies. Like I feel excited. I might do Saw after just because Spiral's out.
Hell yeah.
Right? I like Saw. I remember
Me
liking
too.
Yeah, they're fun.
Saw's one of the few horror movies that I'll get into.
Especially for torture porn. Like I'm okay. Like Saw's the only torture porn one I'm like kind of into. So I watched that, and then so the thing I want to also I watched. So we have a WhatsApp group, and we were all troll. Well, Martin Children of Men, which I got pissed off about. Was like, are you fucking kidding me? How have you not seen Children of Men? And then he messaged like a few days later that he will watch it, and he watched it, and he messaged during, and he's like, actually, guys, I watched it. I was very stoned when I watched it, and I like forgot that I actually seen this movie, and I thought that was like hilarious, but also like you're an idiot, as if you like did not remember you've seen a like amazing movie. So like, but then that happened to me like the other night, so I was like, I got kind of stoned. And I was like, oh, this movie. You know what? I've always wanted to watch this movie, and I'm watching it. And I'm like, I remember that line. Like, wait a minute. She's going to stab him. Oh my God, I've seen this movie. And I was like, I forgot I've seen it. And I remember watching it really late at night when it first came out. And the movie is Side Effects. It's a Steven Soderbergh movie starring like Rooney Mara, Channing Tatum, Jude Law, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. And it's a very like, kind of like murder mystery somber movie, and basically Jude Law plays a psychologist who starts seeing Rooney Mara and who accidentally, this is kind of in the premise but not really a spoiler, but she accidentally kills her husband while taking medicines that cause her to sleepwalk, antidepressants that cause her to sleepwalk, and so there's did she do it on purpose? Did she not? Is that kind of a mystery without it? Anyways, it's a very good movie. Steven Soderbergh, of course. And it's like, yeah, it's fun. It's good. And the last thing I'll talk about is I finished, because we kind of brought it up last time, but I finished Invincible, which is such a good show. And we already talked about it, but like everyone should go out and watch Invincible. It's just so good. And I'm so excited for season 2 and 3. And it's just, I'm so happy to watch like a good animation show that's like for adults, like besides BoJack.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I'm Jimmy, have you finished it?
I haven't started Invincible yet. No.
Okay, Mark, have you?
Nor have I. No, you keep telling me to watch it, but I haven't started it yet.
It's like it's like hands down, like so many people are talking how good it was, and I think my only like beef with the show is I don't like they do like animation and CGI, and I think it's to save time. I don't like it. I think I've decided in the end, but it works for the most part. That's my only nitpick. Overall, I think it's really fun. Even the side plots, I don't mind, and the side characters and all the voice acting is great. So everyone should just watch Invincible. At least watch the first episode at the very least. And if you don't like it after that, I get it. Yeah, but like because that is the show by the end of it.
Give yourself. He's right to Mark and Jimmy. Give yourself the first episode, and if that doesn't hook you, then that's like the plot. The main and overall story and plot starts in the last 7 to 8 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah. I was ready to bail because I was like, I think I know what the show is, and then it flipped, and I was like, oh shit! So and then I watched, like, I just binged the rest. So,
please, Mark and Jimmy, jump in the chat room once you're done the first episode and just like give us your 1-word response.
Yeah.
Because just looking at the animation of it, I think I could get into it. It's sort of reminiscent to me of sort of your Spider-Man, X-Men, that sort of animation.
Yeah.
I think you'll dig it. It's fun.
And his dad kind of looks like J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, there's a reason for that. You want to tell him what the reason is, Ian?
Well, who is the voice actor for that character?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
It's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I've been watching. The only thing I was gonna like quickly plug, just because someone else brought it up on a podcast, and then I was showing a friend, and I really just been enjoying it. It's a TikTok account that's so fucking funny, and this guy just recently blew up, and it's just some guy named Scott Sess, and he does like. I think he's a stand-up comedian. He's been just basically trolling IKEA and pretending he's an IKEA employee, and it's just really fun to watch for these 15 seconds. Like, when someone just figured out a good idea and are funny, he hit the nail on the head. Anyways, it's been like a pastime for me being like, this is really good, and comedians are like pushing him on Twitter and stuff now. Like he kind of blew up like overnight. Yeah, it's been kind of fun and like a weird discovery in the last day that I was like, this guy's really good. That's it.
I love the fact that people are using TikTok as a sort of a scripted like delivery system of entertainment, as opposed to just like bullshit social media. There's some really good stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, I agree. It's just how the algorithm shows you the stuff, and you have to kind of find it sometimes. So yeah, once you kind of like curate your own account to see the good stuff. Otherwise, mine right now is just like attractive people dancing. That's 90% of it. Occasionally dogs.
That's what I say to people too. If you haven't got into TikTok, you don't like what you see other people's TikTok as, kind of like Jimmy's Netflix, is that it feeds you things that you like or that you haven't seen. And once you start curating it, actually like physically interact with things that you like, right? Like, comment, share, then the algorithm starts really working to your advantage, and it just feeds you great stuff.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I'll tell you, maybe I like to watch garbage.
Like,
maybe.
What was the order of like Tower Heist? You watch like all this good stuff. You watch Twister, you watch Peanut Butter Falcon, you watch, what was the other thing you watched?
The League.
And did you do that to like clean up your mouth after Tower Heist, or like before?
It was a chaser.
I am seeing here, speaking of those, the relationship between things, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, that Jason Mantzoukas is also voicing a character in Invincible.
He does.
Who plays Raffi from The League.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Well, and he's also Jay from Big Mouth too.
Yes.
He's an amazing character. Ian's kind of got some Mantzoukas vibes that
I've been told that. I don't think I have that like grittiness in my voice that he has, but I definitely have like, I think we have the same energy of talk, like the way we talk sometimes. So I have been told that.
I just have a hard time because on Big Mouth, his character likes to fuck his pillow, and on Invincible, his character can light shit on fire. So when I hear Jason Mantzoukas do his character on Prime, I'm on Invincible, I'm waiting to hear I'm gonna fuck my pillow joke.
The Big Mouth, like that subplot of like this kid that like likes to fuck, he has a relationship with his pillow, and then like another pillow at some point, like because it's like a male pillow and a female pillow, and he finds out he's bisexual because of it, is like so funny. It's such a fucking funny show. Like, that's so weird and so good at the same time. Anyways, I love it.
I totally forgot that Seth Rogen makes an appearance in The League too with Mantzoukas. That's an amazing episode.
Yeah, he's the porno director.
Oh yes, he's so good.
Also makes an appearance in Invincible.
Yeah, he plays a one-eyed alien who's part of an interplanetary UN type group.
We're just doing the connected thing today.
Oh yeah.
Apparently the League and like Invincible are connected in so many ways. So
I'll echo Ian's thoughts on Invincible. Fucking fantastic. In fact, so much, ladies and gentlemen. There's a few things we should echo in there. First of all, the show has videos now. If you haven't noticed that, guys, we'll take a little moment here to plug ourselves. We've been popping videos onto our Facebook. So this all makes sense because Mark came over in the last little while here, and we talked and we talked about TikTok. So we've got a TikTok channel too that me and Mark are going to start playing with. Probably Ian's going to help us with that as well too. I'm looking at Jimmy. Jimmy, you're gonna help with that too. So I can't wait for this algorithm that both of you guys are talking about to take effect to show us some stuff, because it does look like a lot of fun, right? And with the reviews that we're doing and shit, I think it'd be fun to be silly. That's the whole point of TikTok. And I found a Foley guy on TikTok who's fun to watch, because he'll show you what celery does for broken bones, and you're like, yeah, right? And like, it's that 1 minute of really precise content in storytelling that, like, you can do it. You can do it in a series. You can do it in like 3 or 4 videos that are a minute long, right? Like, you're obviously just breaking, but it is really interesting. So I have been watching some TikTok as of late to get inspired to play with all you TikTokers. That said, what I really watched this week, and swear that if any one of you out there or here has seen the first 3 seasons, get the 4th season of Handmaid's Tale going in your life right now. After this show, start watching it, because it like starts in 6th gear, and I don't know, I haven't looked at, I don't want to look, I think, because I don't know if there's more than 6 episodes, but the last episode sure felt like a season finale, and I don't want to be brokenhearted by Googling and finding out that it was a season finale, because I want more of it. But like, yes, to give you a quick synopsis, June is still being, she gets away, and then she gets captured again. Like, that's still happening. That's part of the ongoing antithesis of the show. But what's happening now is June is fucking angry. And there are things that, as June is, because it basically, for anybody who kind of needs a full shot of this to catch up, the last season ended with June escaping and getting the kids freed and off to Toronto. Have any of you guys seen it? You know what I'm talking about? No?
No, it's so much a show I want to watch. I just haven't. And it's like, it's on Crave now. And I've been like debating deep diving it. And I'm like, I don't know. You're one of the few people I know that watches it. I've only heard good things, but I don't know anyone that watches it. And it also has a Winnipeg connection. I don't know if you know that too. But it's apparently like just, I've heard really good things. So happy you're selling me on it right now. Just like
somebody writing it from Winnipeg. Is that the connection?
No, it's actually executive produced in Winnipeg with original pictures. Kim Todd.
Oh, really?
Produced season 2 and season 3.
That's crazy. Well, Kim,
and these six episodes of season 4, Mike, where it ends.
It is.
Oh, so wow, that's it.
Oh, I'm fucking with you.
Oh, fuck you.
Now, how do you feel that it's been canceled?
Exactly. Retroactively, they're removing it from all platforms immediately.
It is still going. So what season is it?
It's in season 4 right now. And yeah, for anybody who knows, like, I don't want to spoil it because it is so fresh, but for it picks right up. June basically was captured, if you don't know this, Ian. So the story is that all women are treated as property. And it's incredibly, like, I am aware that the first season is 100% the book, but I think the second and third season took the story further than the book did, and they've done an amazing job writing it. Like, Margaret Atwood is an executive producer on it, so she's telling the story with the writers, which is very obvious. But I didn't read the book. But where you're at right now is June has just sent a plane full of children to Canada, to Pearson Airport, to safety. And she decides, instead of getting on that plane, she will stay behind to try to save more of these handmaids who are treated as property, and try to get them all out, which is where the story goes completely haywire and becomes, like, for anybody who's seen it, we all know that we've watched June go from being a very strong, independent woman to being broken, to then finding her independence again. And now she's in a stage where she just doesn't give a fuck. And she's violent, and she's angry, and she's confused. And Elizabeth Moss nails every point. Like, it's so good. Bradley Whitford is in it as one of the wrongly in charge people who decided to change American values for what they thought was the better.
Joseph Fiennes.
What was that?
Joseph Fiennes as well.
Joseph Fiennes is fantastic. I don't know the name of Joseph Fiennes' wife in the show who plays.
No. Sorry, I was going to say Alexis Bledel from.
No,
Gilmore.
Alexis Bledel is also, yeah, she plays one of the handmaids. Like, it's filmed in Ontario. It's filmed in Canada. Like, it's an MGM produced show. Like, just for you, Ian, and the rest of the guys, like, it is a lesson in storytelling. I mean, it's helmed by Margaret Atwood. Like, she's
Well,
a novelist. Like like whenever you get the writer, like George R.R. Martin, Neil Gaiman, Margaret Atwood, whenever you get them on a show,
Yeah, agreed.
you've got somebody who's a master storyteller who just then the writers take their cues and go, okay, I can write that, but you're telling the story of your characters instead of hiring a writer's room and then hoping it's interpreted properly. This is like, no, this is my baby. Don't fuck with June.
So I guess my only reason I haven't really watched it, to be honest, is I've always wanted to read the book and I haven't. Is it even worth it? Like, should I just like go hard into the show?
Yeah, it is. The book I've heard is more like it is.
I've heard it's fucked, which is why I want to read it. Yeah,
it's fucked, and they do include some of the fuckness in the show, but it's not as, from what I've heard, it's not as like fluid.
Right.
It's a little chopped up. You get pieces of it, like not a spoiler. The intensity at which any religion can find itself at some point is you've got some people who practice and dabble, and then other people who are very devout,
right,
and practice to the 10th degree. Like think the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
you know how he whipped himself and all that shit. Like that's what this is. So
relatable.
Yeah, relatable. Exactly.
We've all been there.
Yeah. No, bad mistakes. You chastise.
Yeah.
Cat of nine tails.
I haven't started watching it because it seems like it's not a casual watch.
Nope.
I feel like I really need to be ready to watch it.
You gotta sit down, seatbelt, dial in, open your eyes like Clockwork Orange shit. And
I love shows like that. Like I love The Leftovers because that show demands my attention. Like,
yes, and although The Leftovers is incredibly confusing, amazing, this is a lot easier to see coming. Handmaid's Tale.
I was just saying, Leftovers top 3 best things ever, like TV shows ever made, in my opinion. Maybe number 1 for me. So
Lindelof, man, it's always Damon Lindelof. That's the three.
Well, I know, man. You can't like. I defend Lost despite I know what it is, but like I think it's a great show still, and the first couple seasons are amazing. So yeah, I agree. Lindelof can't lose.
So the island is purgatory?
To some interpretation.
Yeah.
The island can be whatever you want it to be, Jimmy. Jesus.
Oh.
For you, a degenerate fuck, it might be heaven. No, I'm kidding. It might be I'm kidding. I don't know.
My review of that show is just the title.
Is that your joke or did you steal it?
No, that's just mine.
That's a good
like
joke.
literally, you know how they like have in the bottom, like Mark Cowell from the Reel Debaters says Lost.
That is a good joke.
Anyways, yeah, so if you've never watched it or you are watching it, you should start watching it again because we chewed through 6 episodes in 3 nights, so like 2-hour sessions. Like we'd stop. Like me and Shauna, the last episode we saw, we both sat up on the couch and went, "What the fuck?"
Cool. I'm excited.
In unison. Yeah. It's those kinds of and like it's that like stretching the taffy, right? Pulling yarn, like really stretching out June's adventure because she gets captured, she gets away, she gets captured, she gets away. Like this is her journey. It is a lesson in monotony, right? Like that is part of her theme, and it just fucking rocks. You just get so invested in her, and you root for her. It's like watching a UFC fight over 4 seasons. Like you're rooting for the underdog, right? And he's almost over. Like you're rooting for June to get her shit together and get shit done. And even the Marthas and the handmaids, like all of the women who have been captured and put into this, you're cheering for them constantly. And you ask yourself some questions. You're like, would I do that if someone had captured me and treated like they used like one of the Marthas is like, I was your property. That's one of her lines. And you're just like, what do you say to somebody who treated you like property when you actually have the chance? And they give these Marthas that, and you're like, fuck
you comes to mind.
Fuck yeah. But like, you're just like, come on. Like one of them, you could tell they were writing her where you didn't know if she was going to respond to her tormentor by agreeing with them or giving them what for, and she gives them the what for at one point. I don't want to ruin it too much, but that is one of those.
Convince me. Stop doing it. No,
so, Mike, to spin off from something you said there, and to move on here.
Sure, yeah.
You mentioned that, like you say, well, you and Shauna got into blah blah blah. Just a quick thing. Do you find that obviously you do some of your media consumption with your partner?
Yeah.
Do you find like those with partners here, those without, those that have a movie partner, it really affects, I found it really affects what I consume, because I don't have the luxury of just throwing on whatever I want to watch when we have, you know, time when you're sitting in front of the TV. I kind of have to find that show or something that that Chrissy's into, and that can be tricky sometimes because we have very differing tastes. How are you and Sean on that front?
We are okay. Here's the thing. I've devised and I've realized this. Thank you, Kevin Smith, because he's talked about this on his show, and he's mentioned that like he tried to get Jen to watch WandaVision, and she got super into it because it was something that she could relate to. And I've realized that I can relate to almost anything Shauna watches, but Shauna can't relate to almost anything I want to watch, because I want to watch shit, and then I want to watch other louder shit or funny or dumb shit. Like I want to watch my shit, right? And not all of my shit is tasteful or even full of story for that matter. But Sean always is. So for me to be able, like, I've realized that the driver of this show for what we watch together, she picks, and then we will watch something, and if she's like, I'm out, I'm like, okay, I add that to my list, and then I do it when she can work. When she's at work, I'll watch it before she gets home, and then we'll watch what we want to watch together. So my exposure to better movies actually doesn't come from me. It comes from Shauna, because she likes the quirky and the weird and the odd and the, like, we watch Peanut Butter Falcon because of Shauna, not because of me. I can't claim that I have that much taste. So to what you're saying, Mark, I get it. It does influence it.
Yeah. And we kind of follow that same theory. I take it even a step further because Chrissy's very particular in some of the things that she likes. So when I do find, and particularly with series, this works, right? Like something that actually has some seasons. If we find something she likes, I obsess over us watching that because I know she can get excited about it.
Me too.
Right. So I'm like, hey, we're going to watch some more, whatever it happens to be. Right. Oh, new WandaVision coming out today. Let's go check out WandaVision. I know you really like WandaVision. What do you think about WandaVision? And then I just shut up about everything else because she doesn't want to hear it. So I know my audience. No. And then in the deep darkness, when she's not home, then I'm watching American Gods.
Yeah, no, and like Shauna loves American Gods, but will not watch Hannibal with me. So I had to like consume Hannibal all on my own, or like Justice League. I mentioned it before. Like I got the bedroom shitty TV for Justice League because that's not something we're gonna watch together. So, and to that point, Ian, do you find like you're running solo right now, ladies? Ian is solo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So our resident.
Don't just limit it to the ladies, Mike. That's pretty assumptive of you.
No. Fuck you. I did that. Whatever. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying Ian's into it, but I mean, I would rather have 100% of the people drooling over me than only 50.
Yeah. How dare you? You know what?
I'm sorry I cut off 50% of the market share for you, man. I didn't. Me and my assumption.
I'm open-minded.
You cut off over half the drool.
That's right.
Point is that like, do you find that you have somebody who you can watch almost everything with, or do you have friends that you like? Not being with somebody, do you have to pick people based on what you want to watch because you know they'll watch it with you?
I have, well, especially when movie theaters were open, I had like my friend who we would go see movies together, and like, but I love seeing anything. Like I can watch, like if something perks my interest, I will go. I have a friend who 90% of the time that works, but not every time. A lot of people, I can hype people on movies, I find. So like I have certain people I can just be like, watch this with me. In truth though, I truly like watching movies by myself. Like I just like, I don't know. I just have always liked that. Like I love going to the theater by myself. It feels so like just my relaxed space. I zone in very well. So I do have certain people for different types of films. Like I definitely save certain movies for some friends or, you know, do things like that. But yeah, it definitely, for the most part though, like I consume media more than I'm going to say average person, but like more than my friends. So like I just binge it by myself, and it's easier and faster that way because then I can like talk to people like you guys about more things.
I found I enjoy, as I got more into being a movie person, that I like watching them by myself also, because you can really get into it. And I've caught myself when I know I'm going to be watching a show with other people, that I'll watch it first by myself so that I can take it all in.
I've done it. I will tell people like, oh, I'd rewatch that if you want. I watched a really good movie.
Yeah.
I say that line all the time. Like, I'd rewatch that with you. Like, trying to get my friends to watch Beginners because I really love that movie, and it's an old like Ewan McGregor movie. That it's. Anyways, I was telling my friend like, you would really like that. Let's rewatch it. I love that movie. I rewatch it like every few months. So like, let's rewatch it one day. But yeah,
Jimmy,
I've cheated and lied. I'd be like, no, I haven't seen it. Let's watch it.
no, I didn't go ahead on a couple episodes to just let you talk through this. Jimmy, with your new girl or boy, because now I can't assume anymore. We know she's partner. Fuck off! Stop putting me in a corner. I'm not baby.
Quit painting him into one species, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, X-Men in the top left corner. Do you guys share a lot of TV taste and movie taste? Was that something that
we do? We absolutely do. Like a lot of the things we like. And the fun thing for me is right now I'm like slowly introducing her to professional wrestling. And I'm not like I don't, because if you do too much, nobody's gonna get into it because it's just stupid. You got to do little bits of it. So I'm showing her like we talked about it with Stefan the other day, right? Where we were talking about Dark Side of the Ring. And
so good.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice place to start, and she's like slowly getting into it because you got to show her the behind the scenes things, right? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. If you can show her the just the strange things that go on that not a lot of people know about. And my favorite, it's one of my favorite things. It's a big soap opera for men, and it's just so fun. So what you got? Yeah.
I want to see Dark Side of the Ring. I want like 100 more episodes of that. I want to see everything in the back.
I showed her the Chris Benoit episode.
Oh, so good. And
because she loves true crime, it just like Tenet, it just
fucking Tenet every time.
Well played, Jimmy. That's a good segue there.
Guys, he's universe building by using Dark Side of the Ring to show his girlfriend what wrestling really is like. So when they go to watch the real thing, she'll be that much more. That is a very that's a Jimmy.
See, I've shown her WWE's been uploading the old Royal Rumbles to YouTube. So I started showing her the Royal Rumble because that's just like a big, fun, stupid event that everybody loves. How could you not love it?
Yeah, exactly.
See, it's all about showing her the good things first, and then you show her a full episode, and she's like, "Okay, I could get into this." Is my hopes.
I totally dig it, and I would love to find a better way to transition into our next portion of the show. So I'll just say, next portion of the show, guys.
Nice segue, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. I'm in the wrong chat group, so that's why I'm looking.
That's about all I have to say about that. People don't listen to the segues, Mark. They don't tune in just for the transitions. If that was the case, we could do this in 7 minutes. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to what we do best, where we like to argue situational debates from movies. And we got no big show for you this week. We're going to do a couple of the little ones, which is always more fun because it always sparks so much more shit. So I know I put down those two would you rathers. I think the second one is more fun than the first one. So we'll go to that one first. So we're going to start off segment number 1 with a simple would you rather. Between these two characters, or character groups, I should say, I will get to. One of these two groups will instantly become your new best friends. The other group will become your worst enemies. Who do you choose to be friends with? And I chose the Channel 4 news team from Anchorman or the Expendables from Expendables 1, because that's really the good one. Everything else, yes, Arnold came along, so did Harrison Ford and Bruce Willis and everybody, but true original cast Expendables. Who do you want to be friends with? Who do you want to be your worst nightmare? Ian, go first.
I would want to have the Expendables as my Screw that. Channel 4 as my friend. Expendables as my enemy. Channel 4, they're too unpredictable. That's the problem. He threw a trident at one guy, like Brent or whatever his name is. Like, I feel like they come from Looney Tune world where anything's possible, and Expendables are kind of generic who they are. Like, I feel like a bullet could kill them. I'm not sure if a bullet could kill any of the guys from like Channel 4. So that's where I'm kind of sitting on.
All right. Okay. Like, are you just referring to the fact that like they're just the Channel 4 news team is just a bunch of idiots? And
they are, but to the extent where their universe does, like I said, it's like being in Space Jam all of a sudden, where the rules don't really exist anymore. So like, that's why I'm like they're Looney Tunes. So like they could pull out like an anvil and throw it at you, and you're like, oh my god! So anything's possible with them. Where Expendables is just like, no, I get them. I like, so yeah, I think they're easier to take out in reality.
Fair enough. Jimmy, what about you? Where do you land with Rocky and Dolph Lundgren?
Well, Mike, this is a tough one. Both of them are very proven in combat. I mean,
hang on 1 second.
Proven in combat.
If you're going to say proven, obviously one of us has to say where's the proof. So before you go on, one line of proof on the fly, sir.
Oh, well, I mean, take any Anchorman fight scene, Anchorman 1 or 2, I think they handled themselves pretty well. None of them died. None of them lose any limbs. Brick killed a guy. That's cool. And the Expendables have what? I mean, decades of action hero proof, right? Like you can watch any movie ever. I think one of the Expendables were probably in it.
Okay. So
yeah, is there anybody that's in both movies? Is there a tie that binds?
Paul Rudd, I don't think was in anything. I don't think.
That's a good question. Yeah.
No, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't think we have a 6 degrees of Anchorman going on here. Will Ferrell was in anything? No.
Liam Neeson?
Was Liam Neeson in the fourth one?
Hold on, I may have something. I may be onto it.
Oh man, I'm playing this game in my head. I'm like,
this one alone here will open it up to all 4 of them, because if you only, the first one had like Terry Crews, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture.
Terry Crews was he in Anchorman 1 or 2?
Who?
No.
Terry Crews? No? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it was so close. He should have been in it, but
wasn't it?
I was thinking Danny Trejo might have made a guest appearance in Anchorman and might have been in the Expendables, but apparently he was supposed to be, and I don't think he was.
Yeah, how do you leave out Machete? Like, that's just rude, man. Like, he deserves to be in an Expendables movie. Although, I mean,
you go right to Machete. I thought I think it was Johnny 13 there or whatever is the Con Air character.
Johnny 13, yeah. What about he was Dust Till Dawn, right? Yeah, he was. It's Danny. I know Aaron, when he was in LA in the before times, he went to Danny Trejo's taco truck.
Oh, I've heard of that.
He wasn't there, unfortunately. Okay, so just to satisfy me and to remind me, because I've already forgot, Jimmy.
Wait.
What?
Did we say Terry Crews?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a connection I just figured out.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. So Steve Carell was in Get Smart. Get Smart also had Terry Crews in it.
Oh. So there is a connection after all.
There you go. Oh, I almost pulled the trigger on that one. It was killing me. I was like,
handshake.
Yeah.
We have to have a whole episode of pick 2 movies, and we'll see without the use of computers if we can tie them together.
I'm very good at this. My friends would do this to me all the time on road trips. I'm really good at this.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Mark. That has now been it's on the chalkboard wall.
We can see who can make the A, most interesting connections, and B, the shortest connection between the 2 points. I think that would be fun.
I love this. I'm so down.
Yes, this is the kind of trivia I planned on today, but didn't have in mind until you. Jimmy, okay, so who are your friends? You want to be friends with Channel 4 News team over Expendables? You okay? So and then
I feel like I'll get hurt less if I'm friends with the Expendables.
He gets it.
yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, for sure.
I'm just gonna get shot in the face. That's all right. I'm not gonna be in an RV crash with scorpions and bowling balls.
I mean, when you put it in that regard, sometimes being shot in the face is better than dick. I mean, not in most cases, but all right. I want to be. I think I want to be friends with. Like, I mean, and it's just a matter of math. I think I want to be friends with the Channel 4 news team because 60% of the time they work every time. So, like, I mean, those are good odds right there. Second to that, I mean, leather-bound books, rich mahogany, wheels of cheese. These are things I can get down on. I feel I'd have more in common with them in regards to like what we would do outside of, like, I'm just looking at it from like, I would never do anything that would put me in the expendable. Like, we'd be enemies, but not until I did something that made me their enemy.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to do anything dumb enough to be like, I want to be their enemy. And
You think they just dislike you?
yeah, I think they would just be like, not worth my time, right? Like, they don't get out of bed for anything less than like $1 million hit or something, and I'm like, I'm like food stamps and a Happy Meal, and that's payment. So, like, I want to be friends with the guys I know I'd be really, really good friends with. So yeah, so 60% of the time, I want to be friends with Anchorman, Channel 4 News team. Mark, what about you?
You know what? I've been bouncing back and forth between them, but God, I want to pick and choose. I want like one from here and one from there, but I guess I can't do that. Eh?
Why not? Fuck it. I didn't.
Damn it. Yeah, you know what? There's friends I want in all of them. Like I love some Paul Rudd. I think Paul Rudd's amazing. And then like I'm a huge Statham guy. Like I don't like Stallone, but I like some of the supporting cast, right? Like Randy and Statham. Those are my boys. So I don't. It's a tough pick. I'm gonna have to go with the Expendables.
Paul Rudd and Jason Statham in a movie, I feel like is like eventually going to happen. I feel
like a buddy cop movie or something, or
they feel right together. Yeah, it does feel a little bit like
the Transporter meets I Love You Man.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Like, it feels like, you know what it feels like, Hitman's Bodyguard. It feels like
Ryan. I was just gonna say that. That's
the Transporter's body double.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You gotta pitch that.
It's Paul Rudd in like the first movie in the bag, and like Jason Statham opens the bag, and Paul Rudd's like, "Hey!"
No, then as soon as he opens the bag, it goes to that one scene that Paul Rudd always plays on Conan whenever he has to.
Oh,
back in me.
Back in me. That's what's in the bag. Okay, no, Mark, you raise a good point there. Like this was not designed to be hard in the paint. Let's evolve here, right? The friendship with I completely, and Mickey Rourke too. Like, you know, weird tattoo artist Mickey. Okay, so yeah, being friend. I feel that my street status would go up huge if I was friends with Mickey Rourke and Stallone and, you know, everybody from, because it's like you're hanging around, you know, assassins and ex-military and tattoo artists and bikers and fighters. Like that right alone would make anything that I've ever tried to do probably a little cooler. So
I think I want to be friends with Mickey Rourke from The Wrestler.
Oh, he's so sad, except he's good at cutting meat.
Yeah, but we'll play Nintendo. That'll be nice.
Yeah, and he has an action figure based off him. I would rather be friends with Mickey Rourke from Iron Man 2.
Ooh, Whiplash.
Yes.
We
could just do like a Ant-Man versus Whiplash, and we can hang out with Paul Rudd and Mickey Rourke.
That'd be cool. That'd be a good movie.
I maybe I do want to change. I don't know if I want to change my answer. No, I want to be friend. Like I'm thinking about like everything. Like Brick you could convince to do anything because you're like, just come on, Brick, bring your trident, you'll be safe. And like Paul Rudd's character, I can't remember his name, but Sex Panther. Who you're friends with someone who has a colon that's named Sex Panther. Like even if you don't really like them, they're there to turn the group up like an extra notch. That's like the Stifler of
Brian Fantana was.
That's it. Yeah, Brian Fantana, and then the guy who's in everything, who was in Waiting, played the boss.
David Koechner.
David Koechner.
Champ.
Yeah. What's his saying?
Whammy.
Whammy. Yeah. So having a guy who's like always got a really good quick draw slogan for fun situations.
One mistake and you're out. Best line.
All right. Okay. So me, Jimmy, Mark, Ian. So Ian, what was yours again? Shit, I'm horrible.
Now, is Veronica Corningstone included in that friends group?
Well, the Channel 4 News, yes. Yeah. No, I'm sorry for being a sexist.
Because that changes things completely.
Because that does. Because that actually adds some maturity to the group.
Like Applegate's the bomb.
True.
And then if she broke character and then became Christina Applegate, I could be like, can we talk about Married with Children? That would be, like she's not in character the entire time, because we've always assumed these people want to stay in character with us, but they probably want.
I mean, really, Veronica is kind of like their leader, is she not? Like, she keeps them all in line.
She's the smart one.
Yeah. She's definitely the one who has tact and professionalism and
how about the boss, the Fred? What is his name? Fred Astaire? No, Fred Astaire. What's his Fred?
He passed away recently.
Yeah. What's his name? Like Canadian actor.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, he plays the boss in Anchorman.
We playing the game where we're not using technology right now, Mark?
I can't remember who it is. Off the top of my.
Anyways, he's also on the team. Fuck it. I'm all for Channel 4.
All right. Okay, so we got one channel. Okay, so that's 2 Channel 4. Jimmy, Channel Expendables.
I think I'll have to be friends with the Expendables.
Okay, and Mark, your Expendables as well, if you had to pick.
The Expendables are going to be like my crew, but then I'm like really good friends with like Statham and Terry Crews. We're the ones that like hang out.
Okay.
Yeah, those two guys specifically.
I don't know, Ian. Do you think you'd change your mind to give these guys an over here? Because someone's got to win. We got a two-way. We got a tie here.
No, I'm happy with me.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Hey, yes.
Fred Willard.
There. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fucking rad in the corner. All right. So okay. We got a little time here. We can do the second one. The second one is Rick Moranis popped in my brain when this happened, which is how most of the questions come about.
Did they catch the guy that punched him in the face?
They did.
Yeah, at least you didn't pop Rick Moranis.
No, I would never hit Canada's.
I think they should let us all punch that guy back.
Right? No,
everybody gets to punch that guy.
Yeah,
every Canadian gets to punch him in the stomach.
What's that called? If a Crispin Glover is using a stack of Ritz crackers, what's like an entire country punching someone in the face?
I think a Crispin Glover is getting punched with a glove full of chips. That's what I think.
That's how I think it. Yeah, I think that's...
As you climax.
All right. So yeah, this one comes from a place of love for Rick Moranis, and probably easily one of my favorite childhood movies, because it is something that ties into one of our favorite superheroes that we've just kind of talked about, and by proxy. Would you rather be Shrunk in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, or be blown up in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid? So look at it just from, would you rather be really fucking tiny? Would you want to be fucking huge? Mark.
Oh goodness. I got to go with small. I want to be shrunk.
Okay.
I want to, because it's a whole new world when you shrink.
A whole new world.
Like when you're big, you're just, you don't see anything new. You just see it from a different perspective. But I think you get small and suddenly, you're face to face with an ant, or
like my Aunt Donna, or like an ant.
You're face to face with an aunt.
Not your aunt. No, I just, because they have this scene where they like get shrunk and they're in the backyard, right? And the blades of grass are like enormous, and it's just, I think it would be kind of cool to if I got shrunk, to kind of go and investigate the micro world somewhere.
Okay, I'm because there's another movie that this all ties into here, and
Blubber.
Yeah, Blubber.
I think when you go big, it's sort of like you gain a lot of power, right? And I I don't really have that urge to suddenly like be bigger than everything and kind of take over the world. I want to explore. So I'm going with the explorer in me.
Okay, so a whole new world, like Blades of Grass. An ant all of a sudden becomes a city bus.
Yeah.
You know, that cookie in Honey I Shrunk the Kids, that oatmeal cookie that we all love. That was okay. So you all of a sudden you just take up. Well, it's the movie Downsizing with Matt Damon. I don't know if did you guys ever watch it?
Yes, I don't remember it much, but it wasn't very good.
I feel like it could have been better than what it was.
Yeah, that's the problem with it.
It could have been the place where they got the science from, and this really weird community in Norway and all that. Like, they just missed some notes. But like, to Mark's point, when you shrink, you actually also take, like, the whole plot of the movie is to take up less space. Like, we occupy. So imagine if you were 1/100th the size, how much you wouldn't need to eat, how much you wouldn't need to use water, right? So you're also like, how small your carbon footprint is basically it's a carbon footprint climate change propaganda piece.
It is very much. It doesn't work. Yeah,
it just doesn't work well. But
I always like to I like to see it from Men in Black, right? There's that sort of the scene where
the universe.
All hail Jay.
Yeah, the world.
Hail Jay.
But no, the other side though, where our universe exists unlike
okay,
a speck compared to somewhere else.
We're in a marble somewhere else.
Yeah. So the whole time they're kind of giving you the all hail Jay, where you're the big thing, but I like the flip side where we're just like Horton Hears a Who, right? Like, we're that little world living, and there's something else out there.
Yeah,
okay. I get that. Jimmy, really big or really small? And
but Michael, both of these give me real anxiety. I'm worried that if I'm going to be super big, then I have to be worried about stepping on somebody. If I'm super small, I got to be worried about being stepped on. And I think I'm just leaning towards big. Like, I feel like there's more maybe marketability being gigantic.
You come with a reality television show for sure.
Is this temporary or permanent?
This is
good question.
Hey, no, you're right. Good question. With plot and canon being used as per usual.
Dad fixes it eventually.
Rick Moranis figures it out, and saves the day. So it is temporary, and it is no more than an hour and 40 minutes.
And now, how big do I get?
6'2".
6.
And I'm in.
Finally, basketball.
That's what's keeping me out of the NBA, Mark.
Wow, I'm huge.
Finally, I can touch the rim.
Yeah. Wow, average size. Let me go to a concert.
I can see.
Okay. So big for.
Okay. Well,
that
guess
eases your anxieties, doesn't it, Jimmy? If we just make you like 6'5", then you're not going to step on anybody.
It really does help. I'm just going to hit my head a lot.
You just be like Andre the Giant.
I feel like if it was too big, you'd have to deal with a lot more beanstalks than you normally have to, and a lot more people climbing those beanstalks and eventually killing you.
You're basically Tom Hanks and big.
I feel like Jimmy would
I just become an adult man.
Jimmy would want to become like the next Andre the Giant and live a career of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I wish. If I had the capacity to drink like he could. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the documentary on Andre the Giant?
Like 120 beer at a time or something?
It was insane. But for some reason in that documentary, they took a whole 10 to 15 minutes to just talk about how much he farted.
Yes.
And I just if I'm ever lucky enough that someone makes a documentary about me, I don't want 10 to 15 minutes of it dedicated to how well I farted or to how little I farted. Either or.
Let's just leave farting off the script. We don't need that. That's a note. Here's a note. No farting in my documentary by Jimmy Skinner.
I actually saw somebody do a short YouTube sort of doc on whether or not Andre the Giant could have been the strongest man in the world. And it was from a strongest man in the world competitor, analyzing his biology and all that kind of stuff. And they said he could, I mean, obviously very strong for his size, but without a doubt, nobody could ever outdrink Andre the Giant.
It's
Interesting.
incredible.
The picture of the beer can in Andre's hand, it looks like it's a tube of toothpaste. It's just like, and it's a normal sized beer can to all of us. Like, for me to hold that beer can, it's just a massive, massive man. But yeah, I remember Jake the Snake Roberts talking about being farted on by Andre the Giant in such a lovely way, like it was a badge of honor to be farted on, because he did it in the ring in a move where like he turned around and sat on him, and then he did it while he was sitting on him. And it's clearly one of those things where it's like after the match they're joking about it, and he was like, yeah, I thought it'd be funny to fart on you because only me and you would know. That's the kind of fart it is. It's like a friendship fart. It wasn't
He could eat 3 turkeys in one sitting. That's not a friendship fart. He's shitting on you.
So here's my pop culture. You guys probably know this already, but my pop culture side, since we're talking about Andre the Giant, is you're familiar with the Obey brand?
Yeah.
Do you know that originally Obey was Obey the Giant?
Oh,
And the Obey picture is actually a zoomed in caricature of Andre the Giant's face.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And designed by Shepard Fairey, who did the famous Hope Barack Obama poster also.
Interesting.
who is in Exit Through the Gift Shop.
He's briefly in it, right?
Yeah,
As
well,
they discuss.
He's in
Obama's
Banksy?
in Exit Through the Gift Shop?
no, Shepard Fairey.
They reference Shepard Fairey in it a little bit, and he's interviewed, right, about Banksy.
All right, so we got small for Mark, tiny Mark. We got adult-sized Jimmy. Don't want to be too big.
I made a wish.
Stop me at shopping at Mr. Big and Tall, says Jimmy. I will go next, and I will say that let's go small. And it's for such selfish and somewhat dark reasons. Want to be in the room when people are talking about me.
Herbert.
Ooh.
Do you want to be in the room with people talking about you, Michael?
I think I want to be more of a pervert now that Ian said it. Just no, but like, you know what, you if you've always like, just to your own advantage, I think I'd be like, okay, let's find out. Like, you know, just the things that any average human wants to find out. I don't want to be in the room when people are talking about you, because nobody is ever like that. That's, you want to talk about anxiety, Jimmy? We're getting into some anxiety-ridden territory.
Taking a one-way ticket to Sad Town there, Michael.
Hey, Mike, it's okay to be a cuck sometimes. Sit in the corner and watch. A very healthy expression of what you really need.
I just recently got caught up on The Boys, and there's the scene where he's talking to Lamplighter about being a cuck because they're watching porn, and I'm like, wow, that was a really great way to use that as a metaphor in this show about perverted superheroes. Anyway,
Well, I was going to say, there's that, what's his name's character in The Boys? That's all he does is hide out in people's dressing rooms and be around when they're talking
Translucent. Yeah.
Translucent.
yeah. So like, I like this, but I wouldn't hide in the room that I don't want to know what people really think of me, but I would hide in the room, and like, I would take my time and, you know, go to the CIA and be like, okay, fill me in, right? Like, I would use those, and then going back to normal height, I would be like, yeah, aliens are real and they shot JFK. Like, that's what I would really want to know, is to be in the rooms where all the power is discussed. So yeah, I'd go small for new adventures in corporate takeover and whatnot. Like, I'd be in the room with Mark Zuckerberg being like, how do you shut this beast of a problem down? Right. In fact, I'd use it for good. Fuck you, you pervert. I'm not a pervert, Ian. Your turn.
I'll do a cuck after. I called you a cuck after I moved from pervert to cuck. I feel like cuck was the right choice.
It's
You know what? I think they come from the same origins.
I also agree. I feel like they have some sort of heritage to what we want. Tenants is the one.
tentative. If you will.
I would go small, only because big feels like I would be a moving target. Like, the world couldn't. I'm too big already for the world, man. I don't want to be any bigger. Like, People already like trying to come after me. I have assholes at me all day. Why the fuck would I want to be any bigger, man? Okay, I'm already a man child. I don't need to be a man, man. uh, sorry. No,
Mostly just doing a lot more camping.
yeah. But it does feel like you are like you're what's it called, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like you come together, like you're like the destructive monster coming in. It just doesn't feel like right and necessary. It feels like you'd cause more damage. Everyone would be right at you to destroy you. The small makes the most sense. It feels like it could be fun. Here's my other thing with small. Growing up, I loved I think it was just like the three, like I don't remember what it was called. It was the Mickey Mouse cartoon where they were doing the Beanstalk, like the giant.
Right.
Yeah. I know what you're talking.
Mickey and the Beanstalk, wasn't it? Just
Is that what it's called that? I don't remember. Anyway, so they go up and it's Goofy, Donald, and Mickey, and they're poor, and then they go up the Beanstalk and they find the giant's house, and they go to the giant's table, and they're playing with all the food, and they're swimming. And at one point, like Mickey or Goofy falls into like a cube of Jello and is swimming in it, and looks really fun. And I've always imagined myself being tiny in that table situation. That was me throwing bottles, so I got very excited talking about this. But yes, that small for that specific reason would be just insane.
He climbs inside the giant's nose, right?
If you're going to be small, you'd need a handler.
Like
You need
floating
someone
on
to
a
watch you.
marshmarshlow in a sea of cocoa.
Oh,
Like
that's fun.
I just don't trust Rick Moranis to make sure I'm going to stay alive.
You've seen the movie. Everything's fine.
Yeah, no.
You're right.
Plot for plot, like you're gonna be fine. He's gonna bring you back to normal size. So you can dump for a weekend.
If you catch me on a good day when I want to help the world, I'd go small. But if I was like really pissed off and angry at everybody, I'm like, blow me up. I'm going to be a fucking kaiju and I'm going to take out New York City.
Hey, Mark, for a second, I know Martin's going to be listening. Would that kaiju be to scale?
It would absolutely be to scale.
Okay, perfect.
To scale with other kaijus.
Yes. Okay, so we've got Mark small, Jimmy only so big, Ian small, and me small. So Jimmy, all the reasons here. Do you want to come to the dark side and go tiny and listen to people talk about you in another room and
No.
an adventure with a giant, or climb inside of a nose of a giant?
I'm just going to be moderately big. So when people see me, they just say, "How's the weather up there?" And I go, "Good one." That's all I've ever wanted.
You know, that kind of joke reminds me of when someone breaks a plate in a restaurant and some asshole yells out the Greek "whoop-ah!"
Yeah, I'm that guy.
You're so much better.
I would have never have guessed it.
Yeah, no, Ian, you're so much better than that guy. Don't be that guy.
But it's my Greek heritage.
All right, let's next on the docket here, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody. Okay, yeah, let's do moral dilemma. I like moral dilemma because it lets us. This is for the sake of the argument shit. This is where we assume the plot of a movie and what we would do in the shoes of said character, or if what said character is doing is morally right or morally wrong. Are they bankrupt? Do they have ethics? So on and so forth. So it's kind of a toss-up between, and I know Mark's going to love this one because he's just going to shit on it. Oh shit, so I'm in another chat group with Mark, and for what the ladies and gentlemen can't see, Mark just went from Mark Cowell to Daft Punk one more time. He has these. I'll take a screenshot of this and we'll send it out. But like, this is his new mask he got off. Was that off Wish?
It was on Amazon, but it's basically a Wish mask. But this is literally just a pair of sunglasses. So this is my new attire that I go to shopping at Sobeys in. So people leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, no, I would definitely.
You wear a mask and you wear those giant ass sunglasses.
Yeah, like the more I watch you put it on, the more I want to dance to electronic music, but I feel safer at the.
I love that I'm the asshole for shouting "Opa" and he's like the good guy for wearing a giant ass fucking reflector.
Well, and in this day and age, what are they going to tell you? You can't cover your face in this store?
No,
You're gonna on a sunny day, Mark, you're going to start fires.
He's going to look down and start a campfire with that glare. Anyways, okay, so moral dilemma. The moral dilemma that we are facing, gentlemen, is from Minority Report. If you've never seen this movie, I suggest bring up the plot right now. Take a look at it. Get some clips going. It'll help you understand this portion of the show a little bit better. But in Minority Report, part of the plot is there's these three, I guess, they're called cognitives in the movie, but they can precogs. Thank you. Yeah, based on being cognitive and being able to see into the future and whatnot, and they use them to stop crime, which they call true crime, to stop true crime from happening. So essentially, they're able
to. I love true crime.
So the true
his arms were pulled off, his legs were pulled off. Sorry,
I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, I've seen that TikTok video, Mark. That was funny. But
that's gold. That's TikTok gold right there.
I know, we're getting there. You'll see us on TikTok soon. With baby fuck, we just started making videos. Anyways, moral dilemma. If you were in the movie, do you believe that the ability that these precogs have to stop crime from happening, do you think that's right or wrong, and it should just kind of roll out on its own? Plus, also, you're using these people like they're being tortured in the movie, like they're not enjoying what they're doing because they're being forced to see the future. Jimmy, what do you think? Good idea, bad idea?
Probably gonna go with the bad idea there. You know, I don't think that's probably a good idea to torture, anybody. But I mean, I want to know about the future as much as anyone, I guess. But at the same time, I think this wasn't the plot to the Civil War II comic from Marvel. Like, I think this they did this with Iron Man and Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel's like they find a mutant who can see the future, and he can see crimes that are going to happen. Basically, it's the plot to Total Recall, but Marvel version.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's like, we can't do this. Captain Marvel's like, well, we got to know who's going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then Hawkeye shoots the Hulk in the head, but he doesn't see it coming. So they got to, it's a fine little comic. And so
I want to find that now. Mark, do you have that?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, there's no three-boobed woman, but
hey man, I can go without. I'm not addicted to it yet.
You're going to tell me that wasn't your favorite part of Total Recall?
Not even. No, I'm not trying.
Well, I haven't seen Total Recall.
Really?
Or not Total Recall, Minority Report.
Oh, you haven't seen Minority Report?
Do you want to guess why I haven't seen Minority Report?
Okay, fair enough. I thought you may have, and that might have been one of the ones that pissed you off. So from just that though, then Mark, like enough because you know.
Sorry, why haven't you seen Minority Report?
He hates Tom Cruise. He can't stand him.
But even like Tom Cruise in a good movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, show me one and I'll see if I like it.
Like Mission Impossible, like Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible, the last one, like
Edge of Tomorrow.
I'll give you Edge of Tomorrow. I liked.
The Firm, great movie, like Top Gun.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with Tom Cruise in that one.
But you can dislike an actor but like a movie still.
See, on principle, I won't watch any of the Tom Cruise as an action star movies.
Jack Reacher?
Because I don't believe it.
Yeah, Jack Reacher.
Do you actually believe Cruise as Jack Reacher? I don't in the least.
He does a good job. Like
all 5'2" of him just kicking everybody's ass.
If he can believe in Scientology, then I can believe in him as an action star.
Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut is like a great one too. Like not that that's an action one, but like I truly like. I think he kicks ass these days. I just think he's like.
I don't like Cruise.
That's so interesting. Oh.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I've seen a fair amount. I shouldn't say. I've seen a lot of Tom Cruise movies that he's in. I just don't love them. I don't find him believable as a lot of his characters. But that's just
Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla Sky, great movie.
If you can tell me what Vanilla Sky is about, I will admit that it's a good movie.
It's one of the islands from Lost.
I think it's the same plot as Minority Report.
Yeah. Exactly.
I actually sincerely like Vanilla Sky. None of you guys like Vanilla Sky?
I liked Vanilla Sky.
That film's like the idea of like what immortality is and what like I don't know. I just think I just look at it that way. That is like a weird fucking film, but I think like Cameron Crowe, that's Cameron Crowe like reaching, and I think he does a good job.
At the intersection of Lost and Tenet, we find.
You know, this guy.
Okay.
I think that movie like holds better than like Tenet in a lot of ways. I think it actually like it does what it's doing better than what Tenet does sometimes.
Knowing what you know and knowing about the premise of using these, because really I'm okay if they can come up with a system that stops crime from happening, but doesn't have anything to do with the torturement of somebody who has a thing that obviously causes them pain.
So what if, hold on, Michael, what if you found out that you were going to do like some heinous crime? I don't know, something awful. Would you just be like, oh, well, I guess I'll just go sit in jail. I deserve that.
Well, see, my issue is not...
Back to that. Go, Mark.
I think, and that's it, the only reason I cut in there is because that's the part of it that I have an issue with, is not the torturing's bad, but anytime that you can see into the future, I have difficulty with the premise that the future is written and can't be changed.
Yes.
Right. So I think if you know that somebody's going to commit a crime, don't go throw them in jail for something that they didn't actually do. I think you should. Yes, exactly. You should change the course of time to prevent it from ever happening.
Yes.
That's where I have the problem.
Unless fate exists.
That is where my answer lies, in that, okay, if you're going to stop the problem, change the problem. Don't penalize the person for the mistake. If you like, now you've got, like, if because we're using plot, like you can't put this into real life because there's too many complications. But just for the sake of the argument, you do have this idea of that. Yes, you are stopping damage from happening, but you're also, the person hasn't done it yet. So technically, there's room for change. So I agree with Mark in that it's okay to do this, just not reprimanding the person, changing the person.
I would open a prehabilitation center.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck yeah, that's where they should go. Not to jail for almost killing somebody, going to prehabilitation.
Rehab.
Yeah. And that's the episode of the show. That's the title of the episode of the show, right? The prehab, ladies and gentlemen.
They tried to make me go to prehab.
Probably should have went.
Probably should have went. Probably. Oh,
if only she had a tortured soul that could predict the future.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So, Ian, lastly to you, where do you think this is a morally bankrupt situation, or is it even right? Is it?
It's clearly a morally bankrupt situation. That's the entire plot of the movie.
Okay.
Is this right or wrong? I right away, like, knowing any like future of crime is very like scary in general. You can't, it's just wrong. Like, it's just an easy no, don't tell me that. Like, it's as bad as someone being like, do you want to know how you're gonna die? Like, it does that.
No. And playing with the future in that regard is playing with the future in any way, shape, or form is the biggest fear, because I'm already a lazy piece of shit. So if I get any lazier, and if I knew the future, that would make me super lazy. I'd be like, well, now I know. No need to keep it in sixth gear anymore in life. I'll go to third and coast. And I gotta want to know that shit. Like, so well, yeah.
Also, if we are going to the plot of the movie, Christopher Plummer figured out. Was it Christopher Plummer?
Who was the guy, the father of the? Well, not. Yeah.
He figures out a way to like hacking it. In this like really interesting way that because they discover that the precogs get like deja vu and they replay and they think, it's very cool. I actually really like
a loop, which is how they fucked Tom Cruise for you, Mark. They fucked Tom Cruise.
Yeah, there's no Christopher Plummer in it. I'm not sure who that was.
An older guy.
Max von Sydow's in it.
That's who you're confusing it with.
Yeah. Anyways, I think it's like an easy like answer for that one, but that's me.
I think, Mike, that would be a good question on sort of a psych evaluation. It's like, if you know the future and you know somebody's going to commit some heinous crime, what do you do? Like, do you stop the person? Do you go there and wait for them and like arrest them after they do it? Did you go there and like, yeah, that'd be kind of interesting to see where you lie on the whole.
Yeah, no.
Do you prevent something or
anybody out there who's looking to get rid of the sociopaths in your life, ask them that question. That will really give you a baseline for what you're working with. I think.
Do you beat them to it? Like, I don't know.
Do you do?
Oh, he's gonna rob a bank. I bet I could do that.
Yeah, you see how he's gonna do it, and it works, so you take the idea.
Like if you saw that Ben Stiller is going to do a tower heist, would you then do that tower heist?
You definitely proclaim that we got to do a tower heist.
Oh, I love a good heist.
You defend Tower Heist for half a second, a movie I've not seen. Ocean's 11 never said, guys, we are now. Like, I don't think they need to say Tower. Like, Space Jam never went, this is a space jam.
They had a whole song about it.
Everybody, we're going to slam now.
Do they have a scene, Jimmy, where they assemble a team in Tower Heist?
Absolutely. Yeah, that absolutely does take place.
I actually might watch it, to be honest, like because you kind of hyped it for me. I kind of want to watch it.
Some of the jokes did make me laugh. So, I don't know if you're bored.
I'm constantly looking to be entertained.
I want a feature-length movie that all they do is assemble a very large team, but never actually do anything.
Like MacGruber.
MacGruber. I was gonna say, have you seen MacGruber? That is like the best thing ever.
I haven't actually seen the MacGruber movie.
Can I spoil the joke? It's the best joke, but they spend like a good 15-minute montage where they're getting like, we need a bomb expert. They go and they like the guy's working out and they're like, we need you. And they do this whole huge thing. And then he's like, I got the team. They're all in that van waiting for him. The van blows up. But they spend like a good chunk of the movie building this team in this huge montage of them like going to each place and like getting their team. It's very fun.
That feels somewhat Deadpool 2-ish also.
Very similar like Deadpool 2. Yeah. Which is also very funny. I think that's like a really good scene.
I want to switch it up here and do. We got some first looks at some shit that Ian reminded me of that I'm glad he did because I was like, yeah, that was more than a trailer. So we'll start there. Marvel's Join Us at the Movies trailer dropped. How many of us cried? I cried.
I didn't cry, but I definitely got like goosebumps.
Okay, so you got emotional.
I got emotional.
Mark, did you cry?
I didn't cry for this one, but
did you get pimply?
I had, yeah, you know what? It brought forward some emotions for sure.
Okay, and Jimmy, what about you? Waterworks?
I just want fucking Blade. Where's Blade? Give me Blade.
Yeah, that there is speculation. Okay, so let's start there. Yeah, no Blade. We'll start with what we didn't get, which is pretty much the big one.
No Blade.
I don't think they have anything.
No, me either.
I don't think they have anything yet.
Like they're still building that from the front, not
Yep.
back. So I don't think that they had. And I mean, like it would have been fun to see some fan art or some artist from Disney like just draw up like to close because how they closed with the 4 for Fantastic Four. It would have been really cool to see them fade then into like Blade silhouettes. Right?
Fantastic Four meet Blade. I'd watch that.
Anybody would watch anything from this phase that's coming up, but the big look was. Which is really like you can obviously tell that I guess they had a lot of faith in Chloe Zhao winning for Nomadland because now they've got her shots from Eternals in it, and I found out those are not CGI. That's her going, get me a director of get me a DOP who like knows their shit.
Yeah,
a beach, and I'll just use it, and that's what it is. It's just a beach. So there's a lot.
Did you hear like the Kevin Feige like quote? Apparently, like he watched some dailies from the Eternals, and he's like, I didn't know the sunrise could look this beautiful. That's like he was like so shocked how natural this stuff was and how good it looked. That is so cool. Like I think I'm so excited for that. Like she is such a good like it's such an auteur director choice to like put and give a like Marvel movie for it. Like it's gonna be super interesting.
Yeah. Whatever it is, and I mean it does. It puts the brothers Snow back together. It puts Kit Harington and the guy who played Rob.
Right. I forgot about that. You're right. That's funny.
What's his face? From Jacked Ripped. From
Camille Nanjiani.
Camille Nanjiani. Thank you very much. I was just trying to have somebody else pronounce it correctly.
Big stick.
I can't wait to see. I loved him on the IT show on HBO.
Silicon Valley, yeah.
I like out of all of them, Dinesh was my favorite fucking character, and
he was so amazing.
Like
him and Martin Starr were like the
Yeah.
Yeah, they were totally the show for sure, and I'm just excited to see like what all of that working out did for his, because like he's gonna look like the Dorito, the Superman. He's gonna have that super hero body that is gonna fill out a costume really nicely.
It's as a brown guy, it is cool to see like a brown guy superhero. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
I did not get I did not get that emotional feeling with Black Panther. And also it was a good movie. I didn't think it was a great movie. I thought it was a very good origin story movie. But anyways, I didn't get that feeling, though I know a lot of people who could relate to that one did. But this one I do a lot more. So yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I always bring up the movie yesterday because when that trailer came out, I got so excited because I was like, that's a brown guy that's playing guitar like I play guitar, and he kind of like, I feel like I could be him. Like I could have been casted as that. Like I got really weirdly excited, and my like friends didn't understand. And I still really like the movie for like, even though it's not a good movie, but it's like a guilty pleasure. And I got that feeling looking at this trailer, and like in him like getting like promoting how like I got in shape. People watch Men's Health YouTube. He does a really good like what's in my fridge, what's in my gym segment, but his is very interesting, and also he's naturally funny, and he's a really good writer and all these. So yeah, I'm really excited to see him in the Eternals.
I get what you mean, Ian. I get very excited when I see Paul Dano being skinny in a movie. I could do that.
Yeah. It's like I could fast that long.
I think it's cool that like they're casting people in really great roles, and the roles really have nothing to do with them being that. Not like he's a brown dude that's been cast in that role, but it doesn't need to be a brown dude in that role.
I know, that's what I like that too.
That's the best casting now. Like Black Panther, Wakanda is like, it's basically an African country, right? I like the fact that they're casting people outside of the norm. I love when they change the gender on a character for no reason, or, just to prove that. I think Marvel's a very inclusive universe, and it always has been, right back to the comics. I think, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think that they have the one flaw with Doctor Strange when they casted what's her face to be the Immortal. No, what's her name?
The Ancient One.
The Ancient One.
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton that was like, again, like that was in the news as a miscast. She did great. It's just like she's whitewashing an Asian like character. So that was like a weird one. But I think for the most part, what you're saying is like that's the only like outlier in that whole thing.
I think that also did change a lot too, because Doctor Strange is young. That's phase 3. That's not right, but like, so that's still around like their early stuff. And then I bet you somebody was like, "Hey, listen, Feige, that was a bridge too far."
Yeah.
Like, and everybody's watching, and who eats your shit? China. So like, you really fucked the Doctor Strange push in China for that, but
wasn't it pretty cool that they took a character that's kind of like some old dude and made it into a female character?
Yes,
or like almost a gender neutral character. Like I almost see the Ancient One as sort of being a non-binary representation.
I actually, I did. I was gonna say I did too, because when I'm not familiar with that character in the comic, but when I watched Doctor Strange, I definitely took it as that, because I think that's what they were kind of going with, this type of person. But yeah, it's still like I don't know. I think they were like, Tilda Swinton's great. She's a name, as opposed to like they could have gotten someone else. It's kind of like, also they kind of play that game in Batman Begins as well.
Yeah.
That was the big twist. So they're like, I killed Ra's al Ghul. It's like, no, you didn't. You killed a guy that seemed like that.
Yeah, he just said he was Ra's al Ghul. It wasn't actually
Yeah.
him. It was nice to see you get to what you're saying, Mark. Like, yeah, like the binary thing. They do understand that because they know they've got an audience that is everywhere. Like everybody loves Marvel on some forgotten island somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Somebody knows about Marvel, and so you've got to represent a lot of different people. And it is like video games and comic books and superhero movies should get away with that. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. The thing that means anything is their power and what they do with it. It doesn't matter who you fucking are. It just matters, are you a good person? Sex, whatever, it should never matter. And then when people get fucking butthurt over that, I'm like, what? Like, how are you getting butthurt over that? Come on now. Like, that's not something that you should put time and care into. The rest of the trailer was fucking just fun to reminisce, right? Like to everybody, like it was a nice, it looks like Disney's like, hey, listen, we need to take the charge to remind you to come back to the place where all the magic happens, which is a theater.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Which is the new title of the sequel, right?
Great title.
Fucking solid title. I've been listening to what Coogler's been saying while making it, and like it's been tough because there's no Boseman, right? Like that's like Boseman did for superhero movies what nobody else can do. So to have to rewind and somehow figure out how to carry that forward, I can't imagine would be easy for a filmmaker. The second trailer, though, unless do you guys have any other things that you wanted to mention?
No.
The first one, okay, because I know Ian's on some time here, so we'll have to let him know. But the other first look we got was the Venom 2 trailer. Jimmy, what do you think?
I mean, I like the first one. I thought the first one was fine. Yeah, I think Woody Harrelson's going to be amazing. I think that was just such an excellent casting choice. Yeah, this might be a great movie. And I don't know, maybe it'll be one of those movies where the sequel ends up being better than the first one, right?
I agree.
I think. Sorry, can I jump in? I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
I think you're right. I think actually it's the first one is like such a bro movie. I actually want to rewatch it because I think I remember being like, this is bad, but I like it. Like I think it's that. Yeah. It's fun. Like it's popcorn. And I think this one is like playing on the same thing. Like I think the funny thing, as soon as I watched the trailer and they corrected it from the first movie, which is like a spoiler, but the after credit scene, they show Woody Harrelson in a cage and he's Carnage. And he has his long hair, and he looked like just like, I don't know, a clown with it, but he got a haircut for this movie or whatever. In the trailer, they make him like a cleaner cut. Anyways, it looks pretty fun and good. And fuck, man, the Spider Universe is my jam. So yeah.
Well, there's another example of a cool casting. Shriek, who's Carnage's like woman in the movie, is cast as Naomi Harris, right? And it's not a black woman in the comic books, but there's no. Yeah, she's just a great character for that. So I think she's going to be a good cast.
I didn't know this, but are we going to see the whole Venom family?
Well, you're for sure going to see Shriek because they showed the scene where she's in like the
see-through
box and she's screaming and the entire box is like a giant whirlwind.
Cool.
And then when they blow up the center, you can see two characters walking away and it looks like it's going to be Carnage and Shriek.
Interesting. Okay, this is a change. I had no idea. I missed that completely in the trailer. So.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Sony has realized how much gold is in the safe now that they've partnered with Disney.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they're doubling down on the Spider-Verse.
I think Disney was like, okay, you guys want to do this one? That's fine. You want to do it? Great. You take the first one. I think there might be some creative lending from Disney on writers and everything to Venom, like because it looks punched up. The humor that's in it, like Eddie walking, like the opening shot where he's like, "Can I eat convenience store lady?"
I have no problem eating Mrs. Chen.
Right? Yeah, like that kind of humor that's in there seems very reminiscent of Ant-Man, very reminiscent of Iron Man. Like we're getting some of that brevity that really, as violent as Venom is supposed to be with Carnage. Like it's a very like you've got two symbiotes fighting each other. Like, and I mean it's a great story to know that two symbiotes landed, but only one of them like he's the I don't know, I can't remember all of it, but it's got great legs to time its way into meeting Spidey, yeah, and like bringing them all together. No, like bringing new.
Well, I'm excited because how's that going to work? Like, I'm excited to see how violent they go with this movie.
There's going to be more than just those two symbiotes. I say we see 5 or 6 symbiotes.
I feel like they're going to pull like the ending of Shazam and we're going to skip like the whole family, you know?
That'd be cool.
In the trailer, there's also a scene with one of the police detectives that becomes a symbiote in the comic books. So I can't remember his name, but they kind of introduced the character. And so kind of foreshadowing that we're going to start seeing these other symbiote characters.
I don't have a bad thing to say about anything Tom Hardy does. I mean, everything. The one thing that kills me that just never came back was Taboo, that he did on the History Channel with Ridley Scott, where it was like the trading routes, the East India Trading Company, and starting and slave trading in Africa. Like, it's that whole shipping route, Western Empire route from Europe that he was in. It had Rob Stark's wife from Game of Thrones, Charlie Chaplin's great granddaughter.
Yeah. I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
ton of great people in it, and it was super dark. And he was weird. He like went off to some voodoo camp and got all tatted up, and it was one of the darkest, weirdest, sexiest shows. And then it was expensive, I can only imagine. And History was like, yeah, we can't afford that. And then COVID, and now we're here. So, but I think Tom Hardy is great as Eddie Brock. He's like, at first I the first Venom I had to watch a couple times. I wasn't going to go to the theater to see it, but after you get past, because I don't know if it's how Christopher Nolan uses Tom Hardy, or if it's Tom Hardy has marbles in his mouth. But you have to listen to Tom Hardy a couple times in certain movies, I feel, to get him, or just put the subtitles on. So after 2 or 3 watches, I was like, okay, bumbling reporter screwing up his life becomes Venom. Like, I really like it now that I've seen it 4 times.
Do you understand him better as Venom?
Yeah,
it's that classic story. Bumbling reporter living in New York.
Yeah. We've all
meets a
know
girl, becomes Venom.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for everything.
I'm excited for movie theaters. Let's just
yeah.
As simple as that.
100%.
And that trailer really. I mean, you've seen some trailers, but that trailer was talking to everybody that hope is on the horizon and things are about to change. And
midday matinees,
right?
I'm excited to like actually like meet you guys in person and go to a movie one day. Like, you know,
yeah, dude. No, so are we. Like I want to have fucking like monthly barbecues in my house with everybody from the show, just hanging out and not in a fucking Zoom meeting like that.
It's so much easier to talk about these things in person because you're not cutting people's mics off. And
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. No, to everybody who listens to podcasts this way, yes, I know we started off one way and we had to pivot, but we were like, fuck it. We're not, never say die, right? Be like Tom Cruise in every movie. Just work your way through it.
We're on the edge of tomorrow. We just got to hold on.
Over and over again. But yeah, no, Mark's totally right. Like the in-person shit. When it can happen, it will happen, and when it did happen, it did. But yeah, I think you know what, the things we didn't get to, I don't want to rush them. Ian's got to go, so I think this is the perfect time to save a little bit for leftovers, and let everybody know that if this is your first time, from Ian, from me, from Mark, and from Jimmy, thank you for pressing play. I know you probably listened to this when you started this episode, but it means a lot that you listen to us dumb shits talk about this stuff. So if you want to learn more about us, head to reeldebaters.ca. That is where you can buy shit. You can look at us shits. You can read about us shits. You can go learn more about Ian because all of his shit's there now. And what can you buy there? Jimmy, what can you buy there?
Skateboards and t-shirts and skateboards.
Fridge magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tote bags, sweaters, all that shit. You can go there. You can support the show that way. Or
stay tuned for Jimmy's new show coming out too. The After Dark, Reel Tubbin, Reel Tubbin.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Reel Tubbin with Jimmy, live from a hot tub.
We watch movies in the tub. It's not a hot tub, just my tub.
Oh shit, we have to watch Hot Tub Time Machine in my hot tub. Like, I mean, I know, like, no, 4 of us can't fit in mine. That's Mark's. Mark got the 4. Was it the 4 person or the 3 person?
It's like 2 inches bigger than yours.
Oh well, what are we talking about? Hot tubs?
I don't know.
Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, and if you want to support the show, like Jimmy said, skateboard, sweaters, t-shirts, magnets, whatever you want, it's all there. It's all. Unfortunately, we don't have stock to ship you, so we use an online store, and they ship it for you. And if you want to throw pocket change at us, that's also doable as well. You can donate $1 or $2 to the show, and then that like pays for shit, makes it sound smarter, makes me do shit quicker.
I've pledged to name Mike's firstborn after the first person we see wearing a Real Debater shirt in the wild.
Yeah. I might have to have a child just to honor that. All right, I did it. What do I do with this thing? I don't want it anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another Real Debaters production. And I have been playing June from the Handmaid's Tale. Jimmy, who have you been?
We are doing a tower heist.
Ian, who have you been playing?
Micah, come quick! Micah!
And Mark, who have you been?
The mysterious god, our son of Odin, a demigod, Shadow Moon.
Yes, the longest title in
brother of Donner or Thor.
The third.
Yeah, there's so much Thor in that show. Watch it, even though it's canceled. Anybody, anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, watch all the movies. We are gone.